Go ahead. Do you have questions about the Nerevarine prophecies? Have you come to see if you pass the test? Do you think you are the Nerevarine? You have been named a Hemusa Nerevarine. You have fulfilled one part of that prophecy. But you must be named Nerevarine by all 4 Ashlander tribes, Urshulaku, Ahemusa, Zainab, and Erebinimson. Before you have fulfilled the 5th trial, you have been named Nerevarine by the 4 tribes of Vardenfell. You have fulfilled that part of the prophecy. Urshulaku, Ahemusa, Zainab, and Erebinimson all have named you Nerevarine. You have fulfilled the 5th trial of the 7 visions. In the Lost Prophecy, Starblessed Hand wields thrice-cursed blade. Gilvas Berlo has told you of Kagranek's tools, the enchanted devices the Tribunal used to steal power from Lorten's hurt. One of these tools is the blade Keening. Your Starblessed Hand must wield Keening. If Vivec has this blade, it is your fate to take this blade from him. You are Hortator of all 3 great houses, Redoran, Halalu, and Telvanni. You have fulfilled that part of the prophecy. You have fulfilled the 4th trial of the 7 visions.
May you find all that you seek, traveler.
Go ahead. Do you have questions about the Nerevarine prophecies? Have you come to see if you pass the test? Do you think you are the Nerevarine? I was blind, but Azura's star has guided me through my dreams. Vivec's high priest, Seruni, has asked to see you when you are Hortator and Nerevarine. Go to him, and demand to speak with the false god Vivec. Vivec has tried to keep Kagranek's tools secret, but you will need these tools when you stand before Daggothar. Get Kagranek's tools from Vivec. They are the keys to the riddle of the 6th and 7th trials.
We are blessed, truly blessed.
Quickly, did you want to meet the Archcanon? You have been acknowledged Hortator by House Redoran, House Halalu, and House Telvanni. You have also been named Nerevarine by the Urshulaku, Ahemusa, Zainab, and Erebinimson Ashlander tribes. The Archcanon wishes to speak with you in his private quarters, but I warn you, avoid confrontations with Ordinators at all costs. If the blood of faithful servants of the temple is spilled, it will make a reconciliation all that much more difficult.
Outlander.
Go ahead.
Thank you for coming, Outlander. You know the temple's doctrine on the Nerevarine. Perhaps it is time to change that doctrine. The temple must protect the people from false doctrines, and your association with Imperial intelligence makes your motivations and integrity suspect. But you have been chosen Hortator and Nerevarine by the Dunmer people. And we have reached a crisis with Daggothar. We can no longer defend the people against the awakened 6th house. You and your prophecies may represent our last hope. Our situation is desperate, but I would rather have you hear the details of our situation, and the circumstances leading up to that situation, from Lord Vivec himself. He has asked to see you. Would you agree to a private meeting with him, and hear in person what he has to say?
Good, here are 2 keys. One to the private back entrance to my quarters, the other to a locked entrance to Lord Vivec's palace. I regret that, at present, the Ordinators are not completely under my control, so, for now, I'll ask you to avoid confrontations with them. Lord Vivec is expecting you. His lordship is remarkably patient, but perhaps it would be better not to keep him waiting.
Under sun and sky, Outlander, we greet you warmly.
What is it, Sarah?
I expected you. We have business, you and I. When I was young like you, I was very impatient, so I will keep our business short. Then, later, there may be time for other things. First, I propose to remove my curse upon the Nerevarine, end the persecution of the dissident priests, and proclaim to all Morrowind that you are the incarnate and Nerevarine, the prophesied savior of Morrowind, and the last hope to withstand the menace of Dagorthur and the Sixth House. These things I will do, whether you wish or not. Next, I propose to surrender to you the power and responsibility of defeating Dagorthur. You may choose to refuse. I will not compel you. You will receive the power as a gift, in the form of an artifact called Wraithguard. You may accept the gift, then do with it as you will. You will receive the responsibility as an oath. You may give your oath, then keep it or break it as you like. First, will you accept Wraithguard as a gift? Good. Sensible of you. And now will you give your oath, before all gods and men, before all spirits visible and invisible, before my honor and your honor, to dedicate yourself and Wraithguard to the defeat and destruction of Dagorthur, and the preservation of Morrowind and its people. A sensible response. Alas, I am not looking for someone sensible. I'm sorry. I'm afraid that you will not find Wraithguard of much use to you. For without your oath, I shall not teach you how to use it. So that concludes our interview. I hope it has not been an inconvenience. And if you change your mind, come back. I have no idea what happened to the Dwemer. I have no sense of them in the timeless divine world outside of mortal time. And, in fact, if I did believe they existed, I would be in no hurry to make contact with them. They may, with some justice, hold the Dunmer race responsible for their fate. My intuition is that they are gone forever, and that is perfectly fine with me. In my library, I have made available 2 conflicting accounts of the events of Red Mountain. My own true account, and another false account common among the Ashlanders and preserved in the Apocrypha. I don't care whether you believe my account or not. I leave it up to you to judge which is true. You are curious. What really happened at Red Mountain? What really happened to the Dwemer? What was the Dwemer's sin? What is it like to be a god? Do I remember being mortal? How do I feel about the people of Morrowind? I remember. I do not feel it. I can, if I choose, remember the feeling. But I do not choose. It is very, very sad being mortal. There is happiness, yes, but mostly sadness. As I have said, count only the happy hours. For mortals, they are all too few. But for gods, for me, there is no more feeling, only knowing. Not quite no more feeling. I still want to win. I want to defeat Daggoth-ur. Perhaps I have lost the feeling for the people, for their suffering. I don't want that feeling. It is no use to me. That is no longer what matters to me. I only want not to lose. To lose would be very, very bitter. I love the people of Morrowind. I became a god to make their lives more comfortable and secure. I am most close to my faithful followers. I am literally in their hearts and minds. I feel the most sympathy with House Redoran. They are Dunmer, driven by creeds and deeds like I am. House Indoril is closer to the compassion and sympathy of Almalexia. A comfortable and secure serenity. House Telvanni matches the disposition of my brother Sothasil, iconoclastic, profane, unconventional. House Halalu represents the future of the Dunmer, integrated into the sophisticated mainstream of the traditionless, raceless, godless culture of the Empire. House Drez represents the past of pre-Tribunal Great House culture, a persistent tradition of Daedra ancestor worshipping civilized Dunmer clans. And I even love the Ashlanders for their preservation of the most ancient barbarian tribal traditions of the Dunmer who first settled Morrowind. The sin of the Dwemer was the creation of a new god from the substance of a dead god, Lorkhan. That is also the sin for which we would destroy Daggoth-ur. I hesitate to call it sin. More properly, call it destructive evil. The sin of the Tribunal, however, is in the breaking of an oath to Azura to forbear from tapping the heart with Kargranak's tools, and in the folly of seeking to become gods. Breaking the oath was evil, becoming gods was folly. If we sinned, we have paid the price. It is like being a juggler. Things are always moving, and you learn to know where they are without even thinking about it. Only there are many, many things moving. And sometimes, like any juggler, you drop something. I'm afraid it has become a lot more a matter of dropping things lately. There's too much to do, and not enough time, and I'm losing my touch. Perhaps I'm growing old. It is a bit like being at once awake and asleep. Awake, I am here with you, thinking and talking. Asleep, I am very, very busy. Perhaps for other gods, the completely immortal ones, it is only like that being asleep, out of time. Me, I exist at once inside of time and outside of it. It's nice never being dead too. When I die in the world of time, then I'm completely asleep. I'm very much aware that all I have to do is choose to wake, and I'm alive again. Many times I have very deliberately tried to wait patiently, a very long, long time, before choosing to wake up. And no matter how long it feels like I wait, it always appears, when I wake up, that no time has passed at all. That is the God place. The place out of time, where everything is always happening, all at once. Daggoth-ur is the former Lord High Counselor of House Daggoth. He was of Lord Nerevar's generation, older than we, and a mighty sorcerer and enchanter in life. In his sustained shadowy mortality, he appears to be a highly intelligent, severely deluded immortal monster with unparalleled supernatural abilities. He appears by turns lucid and deranged, compassionate and bestial, profoundly wise and profoundly disordered. In short, he is a mad god. You need to know, where is Daggothur? What are Daggothur's plans? Who are Daggothur's servants? Who is Daggothur? What are Daggothur's powers? What is known about Daggothur's defenses? How can I prepare for battle against Daggothur? Who can help? Confer with the Ordinators and Buoyant Armigers, garrisoning Ghost Gate, for the latest information about the defenses of the citadels of Daggothur and his hard-white kin. We know nothing for sure, but we have learned much from interrogating Sixth House cultists and victims of dream compulsions, and from our study of Daggothur's actions. The Temple Scholars and Inquisitors have prepared a document, Daggothur's Plans, that summarizes what we know or suspect. Take this copy. It's also available in my library. Daggothur's Plans summarizes what we know or suspect. You have a copy. It's also available in my library. He is able to send his mind into the dreams of susceptible victims across vast distances. The victims are either swayed by his compulsions or driven mad. He also seems nearly invulnerable to physical and magical harm. His flesh, and the flesh of his followers, evolves towards a mutable, magical form. Daggothur and the highest ranks can control the distorted manifestations of their flesh. Lower ranks lose control of their bodies and become mindless, corpus monsters. Chief among his servants are his 7 brothers, the Ash Vampires, powerful heart-whites and cunning sorcerers of old. These creatures appear to die, but always are revived at the heart. Somehow Daggothur has conferred some portion of his immortality upon them, or perhaps they sustain themselves through more conventional sorcery. Prepare for war. Beyond the Ghost Fence, there are no safe places, no allies. Stockpile resources, plan for retreat and replenishment, quest for artifacts of power. Ordinators and Buoyant Armigers stationed at Ghostgate have the most practical knowledge of the nightmare world inside the Ghost Fence. Seek them in my name for counsel and aid. Let's see. You accepted an artifact called Wraithguard. Then, I proposed that you accept the responsibility of defeating Daggoth and swearing an oath to that effect. You may give your oath, then keep it or break it as you like. So, will you give your oath before all gods and men, before all spirits visible and invisible, before my honor and your honor, to dedicate yourself and Wraithguard to the defeat and destruction of Daggoth and the preservation of Morrowind and its people? Not very sensible, but very good. I was hoping for someone who would have no hesitations about making such an oath. You will now have a brief momentary sensation of time passing. Don't be alarmed. You are being taken out of time in order to avoid the unpleasant experience of learning how to use Wraithguard. It will be over before...
There is a brief sensation of motion in total darkness, floating but without a sense of weight or direction.
You know it now. I will notify the temple that you are our champion. There shall be no more persecution of the dissident priests, and I hope both sides shall swiftly be reconciled. We have time for questions if you like, or you may leave as you wish. But I think there are at least two things you ought to know before you leave. How to use Wraithguard, and how to defeat Daggoth. Daggoth has never ventured out of the Heart Chamber, the place on the Red Mountain where the heart of Lorkhan lies. It is there, or nearby, that he is constructing a new god, Akula Khan, also known as Second Numidian. To defeat Daggoth, go to Red Mountain to recover the artifact Hammer Sunder from Gate Citadel Vaminal. Then, recover the artifact Blade Keening from Gate Citadel Odrasal. Then, proceed with Wraithguard, Sunder, and Keening to the Citadel of Daggoth. Within the Citadel, find the heart of Lorkhan. Use the 3 artifacts to sever Daggoth connection to the heart, and he will be destroyed, and the Blight ended on Morrowind. To destroy Daggoth, you must sever his connection with the heart of Lorkhan. To do this, strike the heart with the artifact Hammer Sunder once. Then, strike the heart more than once with the artifact Blade Keening. You must wear Wraithguard, because you cannot handle either Sunder or Keening unless you are wearing Wraithguard. That is the short, simple explanation. Here is the long, detailed explanation, written down for your convenience. Read it, study it, commit it, to memory. You want to know, why did I wage war on the Nerevarine? Why did I try to suppress the Apocrypha? Why did I persecute the dissident priests? Why is Daggothur winning the war? How does the Tribunal fight Daggothur? What are Wraithguard's powers? Daggothur is winning because he is close to the source of power, Lorkhan's heart, and because he retains the passion of madness, while we have settled into the lonely and unrewarding posture of dogged dutifulness and perseverance. And finally, perhaps because he is stronger and smarter than we are, and his followers are more fervent and fanatical. I believe we were careless and complacent, and outwitted. And, in the matter of denying the Nerevarine, we were foolish. Suppression and persecution of dissent is just one of the standard tools of statecraft. I believe we erred in trusting the judgment of Berosala. He and his ordinators served valiantly in the war against Daggothur. We mistook his misplaced zeal for energy and dedication. Mistakes were made, but no more. There shall be no more persecution of the dissident priests, and I hope both sides shall swiftly be reconciled. Why did I suppress the Apocrypha? Because it was such an unfortunate mixture of truth, falsehood and speculation that I couldn't afford to manage the confused reaction of our faithful. Any doubt whatsoever weakened their faith, and we needed their faith to give us the power to maintain the ghost fence. In retrospect, perhaps we lost the faith of those we most needed while preserving the faith of the meek and indifferent. Perhaps a mistake was made. Who can say? In the past, the Tribunal made seasonal campaigns to Red Mountain. We slew Daggothur and his kin, though the heart always revived them in time. Later, when we realized we couldn't destroy them, we created the Ghost Fence to contain the threat. These solutions were effective until Daggothur ambushed us and captured Sunder and Keening. Since that time, our fortunes have waned as his increased. Why did I try to kill you? Because you threatened the faith of my followers, and I needed their faith to hold back the darkness. And I thought you were my enemy, a pawn of the subtle Daedra Lord Azura, or a pawn of Emperor Uriel Septim, or a simple fraud, perhaps a hero, but not much of one if my faithful could destroy you. Now circumstances are altered. I need you, and you need me. Wraithguard's primary function is to protect the wearer from the fatal energies of the artifacts Sunder and Keening. It also has minor protective enchantments against physical and magical damage that you may find useful. You want to chide me. Why did I murder Nerevar? Why did I break my oath to Azura not to use Khagrenak's tools? Why did I cause others to suffer? Along with Lord Nerevar, and at his insistence, Almalexia, Sothasil and I swore before our god of oaths at the time, the Daedra Lord Azura, never to employ the tools of Khagrenak for any purpose. We broke our oaths. We turned our backs on the old gods. I still see no compelling reason to worship any of the Aedra or Daedra. But for the respect I held for Nerevar, and the respect I held for myself, I should never have betrayed my oath. Of all my life's actions, I most regret that failure. Why did I cause others to suffer? I respect that question, and you for it. The most I can say is, I did the best I could, as I saw things. Can you, mortal, presume to judge the actions and motives of a god? But, because I need you, and you need me, I will make an accounting for my sins to you. But not now. Destroy Daggothor, and then we will discuss my sins. Then, perhaps, you will have earned the right to judge me. We did not murder Nerevar. The legend that we murdered Nerevar comes from a story told by a shield companion to Nerevar, Alandro Sul, who lived among the Ashlanders. The Ashlanders have retained Alandro Sul's account as part of their oral histories. The account is persuasive in some details, implausible in others, and is in any case false. I have 2 accounts of Nerevar's death here in my library. Read them, and judge for yourself. Actually, I believe we finished our business. I will notify the temple that you are our champion. There shall be no more persecution of the dissident priests, and I hope both sides shall swiftly be reconciled. Now you are my guest. I am your host, and we have time for explanations. or counsel, or questions, or bitter recriminations, if you like. Or you may leave if you wish, as you wish. But I think before you leave, you should hear how to defeat Daggothor, and how you must use the artifact Wraith Guard.